All right, welcome back to part two, Ties Off with Tyler, part two, marriage questions with T and E. Okay, let's get personal right quick. People always want to know, they always want to kind of go behind the curtain a little bit. So I think it's really important to be able to compliment, and I think it's really important to be able to critique. Okay, what are the best qualities and what are the worst qualities about TG?
Okay. So some of the best qualities is he's an amazing dad and he's very present in their lives. He is very, takes care of our family, makes sure we don't have any needs. Some of the
What
worst.
are some of the worst qualities?
The worst qualities.
Everybody knows how great I am. Just kidding.
Your lack of scheduling and communication on scheduling, I would say, is probably the worst.
I would probably say that I live in my own
World. Yes. Even though we have Google calendars, we have calendars in our home, we have calendars everywhere.
right. Why do you think it's important to be able to hear somebody say that, hear your spouse say that about you? So some people,
To hear pros and cons about you.
why do you think that's
Well,
important?
I think it's always good to be encouraged and helps you to continue to strive in what you're good at.
Yeah.
And I think it's always good to be critiqued because you should always be growing,
Yeah, I think
improving.
a lot of times people, I struggle with hearing critiques because it always feels like a personal attack.
Yeah.
And when it's from your spouse, it probably should not be a personal attack.
Right.
You probably need to communicate better find a better way to do those things.
And you have to know they're only saying these things for your good,
In theory.
in theory, most of the time to help.
Okay.
You also don't
Hang on. Are we going
lock
back to
in.
my issues?
Yes. We also don't lock in if it's something we're not interested in.
Who's we?
You.
Okay. That's not true.
That is. I was literally riding down the road the other day, had been telling a story for 10 minutes that you asked me to tell you.
Okay, hang on.
And then did not pay attention and asked me to
So we're riding
start
down the
over.
road. All right, so Avery and Lori are behind the camera over there. Okay, so we're riding down the road, Avery. And Erica, I asked her a question about somebody.
Yeah, I can't remember
What it was. And she's talking. And I don't know how long it had been going on, but I realized in my head that I had not been listening. I don't know what happened.
Yes.
I don't,
because you weren't interested.
Now, I don't remember what happened. So I stopped you, and I admitted. What did I say? I
said,
"Hang on."
okay, I'm going to need you to start over. I wasn't listening.
Yes, I did. So I admitted my faults. I think,
And the kids, I will say, backed me up in that one.
I'm ganged up on
did.
every day. Okay.
Anyways.
Back to the story. Okay, Avery, let's talk about some of these questions, all right? Some of these questions that people write in about. Now, I think we need to stop and preface this. We're not marriage experts.
No.
We are not marriage experts. You know, we battle our own selves. We struggle in our own ways. But I think we are honest enough to tell what we have learned, where we have learned it, and so on and so forth.
We got several years under our belt.
Yes, so we have been married as of this 15, 16 years.
Yeah.
We've completed 15, going to 16. So we're not experts, but we're also not novices. This is not our first, per se, rodeo. So we can give a little bit of advice.
Yeah.
If what we can't really tell them what to do, we can definitely tell them what not to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you a question, okay? All right, here's a good one. Have there been moments when you wanted to give up? And if so, what stopped you?
I think there's been moments of frustration where you feel like you're hitting a wall. Nothing's changing. They're not hearing you. And I think outside life events can also affect that. You know, when you are bothered or affected or traumatized in another area of your life, and then your marriage also feels like you're not connecting, you're not getting through, you're not being understood, you're not being heard, then there becomes this thought of just giving up on it all.
Yeah.
I think sometimes. So I think what stops you is, for me, number one, ultimately your love for each other. and remembering that you're both humans. You're not perfect. And sometimes the things we're upset about, we haven't even vocalized. I know as women, we're real bad about it all being up here, but not actually getting it out to where our spouse can understand our true problems. And I think the commitment we made before God is what, a lot of, as Christians, draw back to, is we made a commitment to keep this marriage together, to work through the hard times, the good times, the ups, the downs.
Yeah.
And you?
Okay, so I would say, looking back on it, I don't think I don't know that I have ever really said, I'm going to give up.
Yeah.
I think in the moment, you're discouraged or you're mad.
You just kind of feel done with everything.
You
I can't
do.
say that I've ever said, like, I'm actually gone.
I'm looking up
Yeah.
apartments. I'm
Yeah.
actually leaving.
No.
I've never gotten there. Now, what kept me from doing that? I don't know. It's just never really been an option.
Yeah.
I would say in the moment, yes. So this is maybe what I would recommend to people. What keeps you from giving up? I would say wait a day.
Yeah.
Sleep on it.
Yeah. Because sometimes you can make up stories and situations,
Yes.
and I'm bad about this. Like, I have this whole narrative in my brain. I even go to so far as, this is what I'm going to say. This is what I'm going to lay out. Because in that moment, quite honestly, the devil just takes hold of your brain, and you've got a whole scenario played out in your brain that most of the time isn't true.
Yeah.
And normally if I say, and I have even gone so far, if it was something I just could not, I would write it down to kind of get it out. But then normally by the next day, I'm like, I'm so glad I didn't say that, because that would have been so foolish.
Yeah.
Or a battle that did not need to happen, was not worth it, or it was something not even true that had been completely orchestrated in my head by the devil.
You said something. Here's what I think. This is my personal opinion. What causes the most problems in marriage? It's always, I would say, I don't even know what the percentage. Let's just say a vast majority of the time, lack of communication.
Yeah.
Misunderstandings. You think something, I think
And
something.
assumptions made of the other.
Yeah. Lori's been married over 20 years, 26 years. I would say she would agree with that. It's always, and I think it's actually harder the further we get in this thing to communicate. Because you assume so much because you've been together so long.
Yeah, you think you know the person.
Right.
Then life is busier than it's ever been. And so, that's what I always tell couples in our stage. I can't say we have big arguments anymore, but it's just little assumptions made. Well, they did this because of this, or they didn't do this because of this. And I would say 99.9% of the times, our assumptions are wrong.
Okay, so I will say this: the longer we're in this thing, the small things become really big, and the big things are just really small. Like, for instance, when you're first married, buying a house, you would disagree on that. You would say that's a big thing. I would say that if you told me today, let's sell our house and move somewhere, I probably wouldn't care.
Right.
If I said, hey, we're going to sell, we've done that. Where I came into you one day and said, hey, let's sell the house.
Yeah.
Those are big things, but they're just small. Let's buy a car. Let's don't buy a car.
Yeah.
Let's
move into Tennessee.
That's absolutely. But the small things
Yeah.
become so big.
Yeah.
You didn't do this.
Yeah.
Why didn't you do that? And you build this scenario in your head. The reason they didn't is because.
Yeah, or you planned this and I had this going on.
Here
And
we
you
go
build
again with
this
that
whole
planning stuff.
scenario
Yeah.
of
I'm telling you, the small stuff
when
becomes
really it
so
was
big.
just
Yeah.
an oversight, or you didn't know about something, or again, miscommunications.
Okay, so go back to this. I think the lack of communication with scheduling and the lack of, on the small stuff, for me, and I think a lot of people, I just don't think about it.
Yeah.
You're so used to walking and living in your lane. You just do things.
Yeah.
And when I just do things, I don't know. So I'll be 40 years old in a couple of weeks, months. I don't know that I have ever done anything that I purposely, I'm just trying to think. I think I can say this authoritatively. I don't know that I've ever made a decision, and you probably haven't either, where I thought in my head, I'm going to do this without her. I'm doing this without her.
No.
You just do it.
You just do it, yeah.
I don't, and I think
Well, and it's different personalities too. You are not a planner. You are not a scheduler by nature. I live and breathe by calendar.
yeah.
But in my mind, that's what helps me get things accomplished. I'm a list maker.
What gets on your nerves the most about me? Nerves, not faults. What gets on your nerves?
Okay, nerves. I would say, and you have passed this trait down to your daughter.
Okay.
You're not a messy human. Not like dirty. We don't live like that. But we always say y'all are tornadoes. You come in the house, shoes drop where you walk in, bags drop the next year. Like, we always laugh at, you can tell where Tyler has entered, what rooms he went in first, and Ella is the same way. There's like little trails. So I think it's this, and I am a
bags go
clean,
here.
Organized.
You irritated me.
Obsessiveness.
So I don't know that irritates me. I think I just let you do your thing.
I was going to say, now,
like
I
our
never say
medicine?
anything anymore because it just is what it is.
Let's talk about something. Avery, our medicine cabinet is labeled. Mm-hmm. Where the Advil goes is labeled. Mm-hmm. Where the Q-tips go, it's labeled.
Yep.
Where the Clorox goes, it's labeled. Okay. As if somebody's going to come in our house and wonder and start looking, and if those things weren't labeled, they would not be able to find. Now,
somebody has come in our house. He's called a teenage boy.
He still doesn't read those labels.
Who can't. I do not function in chaos. When I have chaos and I have things, like, I'm good if you send me a list of, Erica, you need to get this done today. Mm-hmm. Not a problem. But when things are just randomly thrown at me, like that happened this morning. I had kids' things thrown at me, ministry things thrown at me, other things thrown at me. And my brain, like, I immediately felt chaos. Like, my life felt chaotic, which causes me stress, which causes me anxiety. So I literally had to stop, make a list for myself to kind of bring myself back in. But that's just my type A, overly organized. And I forget. Like, if things aren't written down for me, I do forget. But you live in your life in the throwing outs. But you, lots of the times, remember.
I do.
I don't.
People joke with me and say, I really do have the way my brain operates.
Yeah.
I do just remember.
Yeah.
The problem is, it may not be until...
Right.
I'm going to remember when I want to remember.
And part of marriage is too learning that you work by spouting things off. So when I don't catch all those things, sometimes you get frustrated.
Yeah, I do.
But that's not the way my brain works. Whereas I, again, have Google Calendar on your phone with all the things. Yeah. I expect you to live and breathe by that. So
this is the small stuff, though, that becomes big. And here's what you got to remember, especially in this marriage thing. And I feel like I need to talk to Avery about this. I'm serious. Here's the problem with all of this.
Yeah.
You're not right.
Right.
And I'm not right.
Right.
You're not wrong. This is not a right and wrong.
It's just different personalities.
That's why I will get mad.
Yeah.
You think, Tyler, you're wrong. What are you doing?
Yeah.
It's not a wrong
Or
thing.
the devil puts in your mind, they're not making time for me because they're so busy. Or they've planned this.
Yes.
Instead of when I had this going on. And again, 99, I would say almost 100% of times in our marriage,
you know what gets on my nerves about you? Nerves. This is not right and wrong. It's not. It's the thing. I am such an initiative-driven person. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll look at that wall right there, and think, what could that be?
Oh yeah, no.
You're not an outside-the-box thinker at all.
No.
And I think what happens for me is that makes me think you don't care.
Yeah.
But again, as you get older, you step back and say, that has nothing to do with somebody's feeling or and I think that's a big issue that I have.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. All right, what's the next question? You asked this one, I think.
How do you continue to dream together after years of building a life?
I think actually, here's a good question. That is a good question. And I think it goes to very rarely are two people in a marriage both dreamers.
Right.
Am I right about that? Yeah. Okay. There's always a dreamer, and then there's always what I call the schemer. The dreamer is always thinking about the next thing.
Right.
The schemer is the one that's like, how are we going to pay for this?
Right.
The dreamer is the one that's like, that would be a good place for a bonus room.
Right.
The schemer's like, we can't afford a bonus room. So I think, how do you continue to dream as you move forward together? I think both of you must walk in your gift, but think about the other person's point of view. So, for instance, we've learned when I have a dream, you used to, and you probably still deal with this a little bit, you would immediately, I called you the what?
Dream killer.
The dream killer.
Dream killer.
Because as soon as I would say, let's do this, you would immediately take a proverbial shotgun.
Yeah,
and
and just crush it.
And just blow it out of the sky. I think the way that you keep going together is, I have to remember, not every dream is meant to be a reality.
Right.
Not every farm is meant to be mine.
Right.
Not every big opportunity is my opportunity.
Right.
Right? So I think, number one, I've got to remember, you're not always wrong. You've got to remember, okay, how can we make this happen? Okay, Tyler, talk to me.
Right.
Tell me, how could you make this happen?
Right.
Because here's what I'm finding through time. What I'm finding through time is that dream, if I can put a plan together, that's meant to be a reality.
Yeah. And one thing I finally taught myself, like he said, I used to, as soon as he would throw it out, blow it out of the sky. And I've also taught a lot of his staff this too, because you were a dreamer in every area of your life.
I'm a vocal dreamer as well.
Yeah, a vocal dreamer, a very visionary. I have made a rule now.
Yes.
The first time you say it, I don't say anything.
Yes.
If you say it again, then
yes,
we start having a little conversation, because I would say 50% of the time you're just
I'm just talking,
throwing ideas out.
Listen, if people want to know,
it is nothing for him to send a $2 million house to me.
Yeah.
Used to, I would text back and say, have you lost your ever loving mind? Now I don't say anything.
But I'll do that. I'm gonna tell you why
go.
I'll do it. They're like, I might like the bathroom floors.
Sometimes I think you do it just to gauge my
I do now.
reaction. What's gonna happen.
But it's all about, as you grow, it's all about knowing what the other person means.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I've learned that.
Yes.
I don't say anything the first time, rarely, unless it's something like he's like, I'm going to go do this today. Then I'm like, oh, okay, let's take plan. But if it's just farm,
Lori and Troy
farm.
and I think even Avery, when he first started working with me, I would just say something, and they would immediately figure out how to start.
Yeah, I think I had this conversation with Lori, and I said, listen, if he says it once.
Yeah.
Don't panic. Happened the other day with a situation, and he texted in a moment of
what did I do?
Frustration. You had texted her and said, cancel all my rivals.
Oh, I did.
Cancel them all. And I stopped her because she was panicking, and I said, don't touch anything. He's frustrated right now.
Yeah.
He's traveling. That's when your ideas really...
Oh, when I'm in an airport,
really flow.
Avery, we need to walk in the spirit of prosperity. If I get my own jet, then we won't have... No,
yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So I told her, I said, don't touch it.
Yeah.
Let him get back. If he says it again, and he didn't say nothing else about it. And then I knew.
Yeah, I don't remember.
It's just... So that I have learned, which has helped me to just kind of not... But if you say it again... then we will sit down and say, okay, like the farm. You've said that a lot of times. Okay. So we sit down and say.
I didn't talk to you about that. I think I'm changing my mind on that.
Hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Just kidding.
I didn't think so.
No.
But we will sit down and say, okay, what can we do? What can't we do? And we have even had situations where we do pros and cons.
Yes.
Like we will sit down and write pros, cons. I'm pretty sure we did that moving to Tennessee, I think. Like we made pros and cons sheets to get both of our ideas, both of our thoughts on paper. Like nothing can be too trivial, I think. I think a lot of times.
It's just about communicating. It's
yeah,
just about
I think a
talking.
lot of times, maybe, I don't know if it has to do with religion or how we were brought up, but it's, you know, you kind of feel this, well, They're supposed to do, but it's okay to communicate, to have a conversation about.
The Bible says, the book of Proverbs says that iron sharpens iron, so one man
Right.
sharpens another man. And that applies in a relationship. You got to remember, okay, if we truly believe, and I think a lot of times we say these spiritual things, but we don't actually operate like this.
Right.
If I truly believe that you were made in the image of God, if
Right.
you truly believe that I am made in the image of God, if you truly believe that God put you together, then when somebody in their personality says, I just don't know about that,
Yeah.
then that is God's way
Yeah.
of saying to you, because if you truly believe, okay, I'm not perfect.
Right.
I could be wrong. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we oftentimes think, okay, I'm not wrong. I
Right.
am perfect.
Right.
Now,
And
we may
like
not
you
say
said,
it.
walking in your gifts.
Yeah.
Letting the other person, and I think we have learned that a lot in marriage, letting each of us walk in our strong suits.
Yeah.
I've tried to let you are a future thinker, especially financially. That is not me at all. There is no piece of me that thinks like that. But I have just learned that is your gift. You walk in it. I am a mom to my core. And you have learned, if I say something about the kids, if I see something in a kid, if
Yeah, I
there's a
usually don't offer an
situation,
opinion with it.
you usually just know that is her realm,
Yeah.
and I'm going to let her walk in that.
All right, here's a question.
Okay?
How do you intentionally grow together, spiritually, emotionally, mentally?
I would say emotionally, I think you grow the most in the highs and lows in life.
The trials.
The trials. Like, I think that just for us has brought a deeper connection every time. Not that we want the trials or are asking for more trials, but I do think through those we see a vulnerability in each other, especially in your profession. Like, we always, I don't know how many times we've said in our lives, like, we've all each other's got. Like, we've all each other's got. We're the only ones that can talk to each other about certain things, that can share certain things. So I think emotionally, valleys and trials and heartache
Yeah.
definitely brings you closer.
I think this is a misconception. Now, I'm not a counselor, but I think there is this misconception of, I think movies have killed us. I think Hollywood has killed us. I think all of this is killing us.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that means, growing together.
Yeah.
You're just together.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say, I think social media has created, I think it started with television and now it's increased with social media. And
don't
I tell
understand what
young
that
girls this all
means.
the time, like, they are putting out a false reality that doesn't exist.
No.
It never exists. Nobody never not has problems. Nobody's marriage is ever perfect. But sometimes I think unrealistic expectations are set because, you see these Instagram stories and this husband and wife are, I think this, like, somebody be like, I've done my devotion again this morning and I've prayed over my children and I sent them off and
Can I say
da-da-da-da.
something? Can I
And-
say something? No, they haven't.
Yeah, and that's
they
the thing. And I think, I know as a mom, like those and I'm like, oh my goodness, I just tried not to kill my children when
Do
I
you know?
dropped them
Yeah.
off
Do you
school
know
this morning.
why that's not true? I'm going to tell you why. Now, I don't doubt that they prayed.
Right.
I don't doubt. But Jesus made the statement in Matthew, when you pray, shut the door.
Yeah.
Enter into your closet.
Yeah.
And here's the deal. If somebody is praying over their kids and they pray over their kids and announce it online,
Right.
Jesus said, you had your reward.
Right.
That's what you're getting from them.
If you have to publicly show your affection to your
Yes.
spouse, if you have to publicly
yes.
show your affection to your kids, that's a problem to
Yeah.
me. Like, that's always, anytime I see that, I'm like, that's a problem.
Something's off with that.
I don't have to let people know how much I love my husband. I let my husband know how much I love my husband. I don't have to let the world know how much I love my kids.
Full of it.
I would rather my kids know that
don't-
mom is always going to be there. Mom is always present.
Solomon made a statement in the book of Proverbs. He said this, basically, he said, don't praise your own works, let another man praise your
Yeah.
works. And I've always been of the persuasion that when it comes to prayer, as a pastor, as a preacher, I don't have to tell people I'm anointed.
Right.
If I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, God puts that in
Right.
people's hearts. Okay.
You don't have to tell people you have a great marriage.
No.
People should be able to look at the fruits of your
say, "I
marriage,
want
your
that."
children, and say,
Yeah.
I want that. You don't have to tell people, I'm a wonderful parent. I raised great, perfect kids. They should be able to look at my kids.
And say,
the
"Those are good
greatest
kids."
compliment I can ever receive is not somebody writing on Facebook, but it's a teacher coming up to me saying,
Yeah.
your child did this today. Yeah. Or somebody sending a private email or come up to you saying, you know what? I see how you and your husband love each other. I see how you held each other through the valley. Those are the things that mean more than any outward accolade.
We do need to talk about something, though, because there are young couples that will watch this, and they don't know.
Right.
So how could they grow together? Here's what I would recommend, okay? I would say every morning, ask yourself this question. What does my spouse desire, need, or want?
Right.
And labor for that.
Right.
Okay? How they desire it, and what you'll do is when you are purposeful in the initial stages, in the first, it becomes a habit.
Right.
Okay? So for instance, now in my head, we're not perfect people. Okay? How do we grow together spiritually? I would say that we're not very good at like every day grabbing each other by the hand and just randomly praying.
Right.
Okay?
But I think...
But what will happen is when we have a struggle, it's nothing for me to say, let's pray over that right now.
Yeah.
That's it's just a natural thing.
I think worshiping in church together grows you together as a family.
Yes.
I think Christ being the center of your home. We don't have to have certain times throughout the day where we invite Christ in our home.
He's just there.
Christ,
He's
our
welcome.
kids know, and our marriage and our home knows Christ is always there in everything. Just because we don't have a dedicated time, and sometimes you do have to get better about that. And like you said, sometimes if there's hard times, sometimes if we get phone calls of bad news, for like we will say we're going to stop right now and we're going to pray for them. We've done that over selling houses. I'll never forget when we walked out needing to sell this house of ours. And we stood out in the driveway with our kids. We didn't make a public display of it. We didn't tell anybody but us four. But we prayed, and we did it so that when God did that, our kids would know.
That's right.
Those are the things that grow you.
Yes. So I would say for us, it's not a decision. It's a nature.
Yeah, it's just
our nature. And I would ask people this, and I would ask Avery this as a young guy. Okay, when a plant grows roots, does it make a decision to grow roots, or does it simply turn its hands toward the sun?
Yeah.
Roots are natural when you're in the proper position.
Right.
When you are properly relating to one another and doing what the Bible says to love one another as Christ loves and as submitting, it's just natural to be together.
And how many couples just might do a devotion together every morning. But once that devotion's done,
over. They never talk.
Christ is out of their
That's
home.
right.
What is better, saying I checked off doing my devotional, I can let everybody know that we do our devotional together in the morning, or every minute of every day, in every area of your life, especially marriage, living like Christ.
The old illustration that I've seen is it's a ladder and two people on separate sides of the ladder. They cannot get closer to each other. The ladder prevents them. But if they both are growing toward Christ, both are walking with God, both pray, both read their Bible, they naturally come together.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, last question's yours.
Okay, how can you prevent attraction to other people after the spark dies out?
I would say the easy answer to that is boundaries.
Yeah.
I would say, number one,
From the moment we got married,
boundaries?
we set very strict
All right,
boundaries.
what are the boundaries that Tyler has? Okay.
So,
what are the boundaries that you have and I have? All right, you know them. Like, what are they?
So we do not text the opposite
We
sex.
don't communicate it. No.
Alone.
No.
As far as, like, if I need to talk to, just for instance, Troy, his wife is also going to be. That's a boundary we've set up.
Okay. The other thing is we don't have secret
accounts. Yeah, we all know passwords.
I don't care if you pick up my phone. You don't care if I pick up your phone. It's not that we just don't even think about it. You know?
Right. And it's not. I know some people will say, "Well, that's a privacy thing." I don't
Ain't no
care. I
blessed
have nothing.
privacy. Quit that stuff. You've seen each other naked.
Nothing
There's no
to
privacy.
hide. So
I get tired of that stuff. And that's exactly what you said is so true.
yeah.
The only people that get offended when you invade their privacy is somebody that has something to hide.
And we have especially started saying in the last few years, no more does it take an action. All it takes is an accusation.
That's exactly
so
right.
we try to guard ourselves so much.
Yesterday
people, sometimes it makes you look foolish. Like I have walked into a room and a man be standing in that room and I will turn around and walk back out because no more do facts matter, unfortunately, in this world.
Lori is back there. We've got 14 people that work at the church, okay? A lot of times, she's one of the last people to leave, most of the time, her or Lori. We got two Loris in the office, okay? If people leave and I'm still studying, guess what Lori does? She's gone.
Yeah.
We don't do that.
Yeah.
We don't do that. Now, yesterday, okay, at Chili's,
Oh,
talking about boundaries, like
Yes.
just the accusation, the appearance of things. So it's me and Eric and the kids, you know, it's us four. And they put us over in the bar section. Now, we weren't at the bar, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm funny about alcohol. I don't do alcohol.
Yeah.
I am against it. People know where I stand on that thing. So our table did not have salt and pepper, okay? There were no other tables around us that had salt and pepper. We had church members that were in the same area. They were in the same restaurant.
Yeah.
It was church had just gotten out kind of thing. All right. Mason, our 14-year-old, said, I need some salt for my French fries. Well, Erica turned around, and on the bar where they served alcohol, there's salt and pepper.
Of salt and pepper, yeah.
She's like, all right, I'll go get some. I said, no.
Yeah.
No. Because church members there, they don't know we're going to get salt and pepper. Now, this sounds so foolish.
Right.
But it doesn't take an action.
Yeah.
Simply.
It
So
just
what
takes an
I said, we'll ask the
accusation.
waitress to get us something.
So we've always been, and we
So-
set those
Yes.
when we first got married.
That's
Those were
exactly right.
non-negotiables because we knew, especially with the ministry, we had targets on our back. And just as Christians, we had targets on our back. And then the world gets even worse.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to make foolish things, you know, do foolish actions to protect yourself and protect your testimony.
It is not that it's foolish, I think. I think it's unheard of. And so it comes across as too much.
Yeah. And we try to implement things with our kids too. Like we have certain things that we try to pour in them, safeguards for them to start taking.
Here's the problem that I see, and this is why we operate this way. And I would encourage young couples to operate this way. Remember, as God elevates you, your fall, whenever a cedar falls in the woods, it doesn't fall by itself. It takes out a lot of trees.
Yeah.
And I know that if something were to be acute, if something happens to me or to you, like it causes a lot of damage. And that's
it
why we
does
operate
give you
that way.
a small sense of security to know, listen, they couldn't even put the accusation out there because there was never an
There's so
instance
many
because we've put
safeguards.
so many safeguards
Listen,
in place.
anybody can fall. Now, let's be
Yeah.
clear. But we would have to make the choice.
Yeah.
So, all right. So here's the last little thing we'll be done with.
Okay.
So, life does not last forever.
Right.
You know, the day will come when our time will be done.
Right.
You know, and I'll go to my grave or you'll go to your grave or,
Right.
you know, if the Lord doesn't come back. And I hope he does. When you're standing over my casket or I'm standing over your casket, what do you want to be able to say about that person?
I would want to say he loved his family with his whole heart.
Yeah. I think I want to be able to look at your casket and say, we made it.
Yeah.
I don't want to cause any damage to anybody.
Yeah.
But that we helped people.
Yeah.
And our kids were successful.
Yeah.
Or we gave them a chance.
Yeah.
And that we made it.
Yeah.
I love you.
Love you.